Hi ATEEZ Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet. Today we are checking out the rest of ATEEZ Treasure 0 to 1. Yes, I literally just looked at this. My brain's like, I don't need that information. 0 to 1 album. Now this is just gonna be 2 songs because I've checked out the other ones. So Desire and Light. I also know that there's like a bonus track on the CDs that's called From, but there's a video for that, which is like circa KQ Fellas era. So that's going to be its own video. I don't really know when. You can let me know the information about that, but I'm assuming I should go through the rest of the kind of KQ Fellas stuff before I do that video because it's like a finale. I don't know. You let me know down in the comments, okay? I'm just here for the ride. But we'll be checking out these 2 songs, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous because I want these to be super sweet, like the B-sides that we got in the first album, the debut. And I think that I'm safe with a song titled Light. A song titled Desire gives me pause. I want it to be in the direction of what is your treasure, follow your dreams. But there's also the other direction, and it comes after Say My Name, and I just don't trust it. I sense some impending danger. It's great that that's going to be the first one that they're checking out. I guess we're just going to have to jump in and hope for the best. See, these pictures are not giving me follow your dreams. It's given the other direction. Why do we have lip rings on 2 of you? Son, that's not food. Okay, you know what? I'm getting distracted now. Why is Yuno so pretty? I know he is, but okay, anyway, focus. I'm just a little nervous. Fine, proceed. Interesting post on a vocal sample. I don't know what I was expecting, but this synthy was not it. Whoa. Okay, no, I know I'm interrupting. Okay, well, several things. One, the synth, like the mixing of it feels weird in my brain, but not necessarily in a bad way. It's just like a weird, like, pressure on my head with the way that those synths were like warbling back and forth, like all distorted and stuff. Love that we're getting falsetto right off the bat. I think Hunjung put like some vocal fry at one point, and I was like, I beg your pardon. We were having like pretty angelic vocals going on. I feel like I need pearls to clutch. Ooh. Sorry, like San had a little bit of vocal fry, like a little bit in the way that he was putting a lot of breath into his voice at the end of his line too. Right there. Sir, did you put a little vocal fry in, or is it like a backing vocals? I don't even know. But there's something there, and I'm like, beg your pardon. Like the image of my eyes glittering. That's cute. I don't think we're gonna stay in cute. And the like exploding starlight, we've already had, well, I guess not yet, linearly, but in Promise, we also had images of like stars and starlight and stuff. So I like that we're incorporating that image again. I'm just... Good harmony there. Ooh, oh no, we're getting into the drop. I know we are, but again, Jungho digging into his lower tone, just like it does. It's just so good because I feel like again in the debut he was more focused on those kind of belting power notes. That getting some of those lower tones from him is so nice. Ooh, that descending with the vibrato. Fix not on, sir. Get in line for a second. Love that we're getting a bunch of falsetto in this, especially since there's the production is a bit wildy on this, which is great, but there's like a click thing that's very spread out in it. The higher like synths that again has this almost like weird like warping, almost like pulse to the sound. We had a much lower synth earlier on, but then getting a bit of a higher one here. Love all the falsettos that we're getting. Gorgeous. I love that Seunghwa also has a little bit of a like more closure to his voice. I feel like he tends to kind of lighten up his voice. Again, I don't know that much yet, but at least from what I've heard so far, he tends to have a bit of a lighter sound and more like breath incorporated into it than some of the other voices. So hearing him with a bit more closure in his voice is nice. Love the little cry there from Jungkook. That like deep distorted vocal. A little vocal rem. Don't start in a lower tone. Thank you, sir. Ooh, I love the switch up in the production there. Much lighter sound. And again, I really like the way that they incorporate Mingi's voice into a bunch of their songs. I talked about this in one of the other reactions I did, but I think maybe Promise, but him having a lower tone in general, or like a bit more like grit to his voice, he tends to be in a little bit of a lower register. Part of that is having a rap cadence that tends to sit lower when you're rapping, but he definitely has one of the lower, grittier voices overall, just naturally is like a darker tone too in the way that he's like placing his voice box while he's doing his vocals. So I love the way that they incorporate him into changing the dynamic of the song and having a bunch of the production lift. I was just talking about how I love getting those falsettos because the production feels like it's in a bassier place. So having the production really lighten up and then you let Mingi fit into that lower part of the song. And I think not only is that really good in terms of the dynamics and being very aware of how Mingi's voice fits into the overall sound, but also it like flips the song, right? There's like almost like a seesaw in the way that they are arranging this, which I think is really cool too. I'm gonna scrub through his lyrics though, because I just feel like we got it. When we get to his verses, I'm like, hang on a minute. There was one line that I was like, caught my attention. We have swallowed that light. We had earlier with Hunjung's lines where he said he was going to be swallowed by that light. I'm assuming a reference to like the person or perhaps dreams. It feels like we're in this ambiguous spot of what is like the desire here. But again, it could also be like getting support from someone, right? I don't want to say all of their songs are about their fans, but it could be that too, of seeing this shining light in front of you. Could be like being on a stage, seeing light sticks and stuff. I don't know if they had an official light stick at this point, but usually fans DIY something. They've talked about like in Promise of their fans being like this point of light, the starlight, right? These ways of navigating. It could definitely be like having that light in front of them and then feeling as if they're like being like taken in by that light, and then having again that seesaw, switching it up with Mingi's verse and having him say reciprocal. And that's something that I've talked about a lot about their music, is that anytime it seems like they're acknowledging that they're getting support from their fans, there's a flip back of them saying we're also going to support you. That's like what Promise is a huge part of, right? Like a bunch of the lyrics in Promise are, hey, we're going to be looking out for you too. We're going to keep our promises. So I love that we're getting that flip as well. I love the repetition of whoa as well in a bunch of the different lines and pulling that through. It's a very far place, but I don't know the way to get tired. That's a bar like that. And again, I don't know how one-to-one the translation is, but that's a bar to say, I understand that I have a long way to go. There's a ton of progress that I have to make, but I don't know how to be tired. I don't know how to take the path that will result in me not wanting to keep going towards what my goal is, right? Love that. Again, acknowledgement of long journey throughout a bunch of this, of them just being like, it's gonna take a while. Yeah, there's still a long way to go. His lyrics are so good. I feel like I gotta scrub through every single one of them. Again, I love how he switches the dynamic. Ooh, like a beat pad on the one side. See, okay, not to interrupt again, but I also feel like I've talked about this in previous songs about how where Miggy kind of places his sound, aims his sound. Here it feels like he's aiming a little bit farther out. I said before, it feels like he's aiming for like his soft palate or like the top of like his throat, like the very back of his mouth, as opposed to like out. How Hunjung aims his sound like way out in front of him, and that's how he gets this really like forward, pingy, energetic sound. Whereas Miggy tends to almost like dome the sound, and he's not doing the same amount. Like it's definitely not. He's not aiming it like really far out, but he's definitely seems to be aiming it near the front of his mouth in a way that he doesn't always with his sound, and I think that that's really cool too. Not to let's do it again, but he does it a little bit. He like domes the sound a bit. Ooh, the vocals in the back though, who's doing those? I would like to be informed, because those were good. And also it's nerve-wracking, I think is really interesting too, to be like, I guess like understanding again the pressure of keeping promises, or like understanding that you have people who are supporting you and looking up to you, and knowing that you're going to have to live up to those expectations. I know that they've talked a lot about saying, hey, like that is something that we are willing to step into, and like this matters enough to us that we're going to put in the work and we're going to keep those promises. But that doesn't mean there isn't pressure to that, right? It doesn't mean that you aren't going to have your nerves get mixed in with that, especially since if it matters to you, you're going to be nervous about it. You don't get nervous and worked up about things that don't matter unless you have anxiety like me, in which case I will just get anxious about things that actually don't matter. But that's a different conversation, and that's why I have a therapist. I think that it's interesting to bring that in, of saying I understand that there's like pressure to this, and like it matters enough that I want to do it correctly, right? Interesting like echo to a bunch of the production. Absolutely not. The giggling is going to be a thing, isn't it? The laughing is going to be a thing, okay? You can't give me Yosung and Uyung lines and make me all ecstatic because I was just thinking, hang on a second, we haven't heard either of them. What's up with that? And then they like I summoned them. I was about to say it. And I was like, no, it's fine. I'll just wait it out. Always love it, okay? And then you're going to laugh at me? Captain Sir? No. I'm going to go back though, because I don't think I need to explain that one. I love Sun's tone in that vocal rundown. There's another vocal sample there. Oh, I don't know what that sound was, but it sounds like we were getting intense because the energy went up there. I was just gonna talk about how I love the little flip, and then he like growled at me, and I was like, I beg your pardon. I feel unsafe. I was lulled into a false sense of security because I was like, this isn't that bad. They sound great. The vocals are vocaling. The production is interesting. We've got a bunch of like interesting like vocal samples stirred up in the back and like harmonies and stuff. It's all good. And then we switched up the energy. Second time he said explode. Intense like drums coming in too. Jungho. No, we're not just passing by that. Jungho, I know you're a good singer. Relax. God, he doesn't have to be like that. I was just saying, I was like, it's nice to get to hear a little bit of his lower tones because I feel like we don't get that as much. And he's like, hang on, I just need to show that I can do all of the above. Sir, also, again, I said during it, but I'm sorry, my brain is recalibrating. Hunjung's line twice of saying explode. We had earlier of like the starlight in relation to that line at the beginning, and then also here. Don't know if that's gonna be important, but I'm just acknowledging that I did in fact notice. Put a little cry before you hit that note too. No, sir. I like does what okay, several things. Jungho putting in that little cry before he actually belts that note. Lovely. That's great. I need Mingi to not at all with any of that. Don't growl at me. I understood the first time you said, I love my desire. That's great. You don't need to get aggressive about it. Then we have the distorted vocal. And we had another vocal on the side and I was like trying to register that. And then Mingi distracted me. And then we have like a lighter tone at the end and I just... what's that? Well, like lip trill. Yeah, who said that? Desire in a match. No. No. Unnecessary. All around. I don't know what to think or feel. Other than... That's all I got. Just a state of like, as I try to recalibrate. Okay, beautiful falsettos and a bunch of that. The production, I feel like I'm gonna have to pull apart because they used so many different vocal samples and layers, both like distorted ones and then layering up and then having like ad-libs, but they're not the average like vocalizations of ad-libs. Different tones to their voices, whether having that light falsetto, going into more of a belting tone. We had, obviously, Jungho going into that belting tone. We also had a little of it from Yosung as well with his. He was definitely pulling up his chest voice, which is also interesting. He tends to have a bit of a softer tone as well. So getting a bit of that close to about a belting, almost like shouting tone from him is interesting. Same thing that I said with Seonghwa of getting a little bit more energy behind the voice. Hunjung is just always having the time of his life with his vocal delivery. Like he just puts so much character into his voice. It's crazy that I don't even know what to say other than I need to see a behind the scenes of them recording like in studio, because I bet watching him is so much fun because he's probably doing the wildest things. He's probably just playing around. And I feel like I need to see it. I feel like overall, though, it's, again, in the direction of what is your treasure, follow your dreams, and playing off of this idea of, I guess, what desire can mean for someone, and almost like this intoxicating seduction towards something, instead of it being in the realm of like attraction towards a specific person, but instead of it being towards like an actual goal or a like future that you can see so clearly that it has that, I was gonna say siren song, but I feel like that's a little bit on the nose given the pirate theme. However, perhaps not. So I will say it now. Say that I said it, because if that comes up at some point, I would like to let there be a record that I did in fact mention sirens, but it having that feeling of being drawn into something, and in a very like single-minded way that you can't see yourself deviating from it at that point of light, to the point where we have explosions mentioned multiple times of this like almost overwhelming, earth-shaking, perhaps destructive way, right? Like it's almost like you accept that you're going to have to break down other parts of your life. You're going to have to make sacrifices and give up on other things in order to go after that goal, that dream. Perhaps, I don't know, I'm just gonna throw out ideas and see where we end up. Real good though, real good. Adding to playlist, because the synths alone on that, I'm gonna have to listen to this a bunch just to pull apart all of the layers, because there was so much going on. See, these pictures look more approachable. That's a cutie pie. That's an absolute cutie pie. I don't know why you have a golden retriever energy going on. And Miggy looks a little bit like he is surprised that there's a camera in front of him, but that's okay. I feel safer here. Again, could eat my words, but I feel like Light is gonna be closer to the sweet part, because that seems to be closer to what we got in Promise, which had some of the sweetest lyrics I've heard so far from them. So I'm hoping that that's the realm we're going in, because I need a breather, okay? I need a little moment of reprieve. Ooh. Love that like older recording sound with the keys.
마치 넌 누구냐고 묻는 듯 깜빡거릴 때면 나도 지그시 눈 감으며 만날 수 있길 기도해.
Okay, no, not before you bring in these drums and stuff. Not you giving me something that has these vibes, okay? Also, there's something about Jungho's vibrato that just, there's something about like his natural tone that when he puts in the vibrato, I'm like, he's too talented. It makes me mad. And I bet he's one of those people who like, I feel like someone told me that he like practices all the time, or I saw it in the guide or something, they talk about like him practicing and stuff. Like he's probably one of those people who is extremely talented and also is like, yeah, but am I? And yes. Like they can't see it the way that we can. And I can understand that to some extent. I also doubt my capabilities on a regular basis. But he's so talented that I'm like, I need to aggressively let you know how talented you are, because I feel like you don't fully comprehend it. This song has given me too much like smooth, what is it, city pop perhaps? I don't know genres very well. I just vibe. But it's giving fun, bright vibes, and I'm here for it. Love these keys and almost the like organ.
마치 넌 누구냐고 묻는 듯 깜빡거릴 때면 나도 지그시 눈 감으며 만날 수 있길 기도해.
Love those snaps.
다가가면 갈수록 확신이 생겨 우린 원래 하나라고 너였구나 말.
Oh, I know I'm interrupting, I know, but getting like much softer tones from everyone. Like I was just saying the last one about how we're getting some belting tones from people like Seonghwa, whereas like usually has a soft tone. Open it up with a softer tone in this one. Also, Sound's voice. The more I hear it, the more I'm like, no, your voice is good. We're getting like some nice falsettos from him. I love this too. Like, you came to me on the shining day, a passing pain. Like, I don't know, like sudden feeling, right? Struck by lightning kind of feeling, or even like you can feel this draw towards someone. That's what a lot of the lyrics are about, is like you just feel yourself drawn to this person even though you don't like fully know who they are. It's like this passing ships in the night, not again to make anything that is nautical references. This feeling of being drawn to someone and not fully understanding why, or like the reason that they are this strong light. So I think that they're just really cute.
다가가면 갈수록 확신이 생겨 우린 원래 하나라고 너였구나 my shine light 운명같이 온 your light
Vocal runs.
서로를 보던 starlight 서로
You know.
순간 어둠 밤은 걷히고 그 안에서
Whoa. Vocals. Dang, the melodies are gorgeous on this song.
너였구나 my shine light 운명같이 온 your light 밤하늘 속 서로를 보던 starlight 서로 바라본 순간 어둠 밤은 걷히고 그 안에서 우린 빛나.
Ooh, the bass is good too on this. I was just trying to pay attention to more stuff besides like just being absorbed into their vocals. Ooh, the production on this, the like mixing with some of the synths like traveling back and forth in the mixing. The bass is just no. I was gonna say this might be my favorite song on the album, and then I had to think about it for a second because I was like, well, holla holla. This one though, I feel like it has like a bit of a dreamy feeling to it too. Some of that's, we're getting this like light breathy falsetto vocal from them as well. And then some of the like synths coming in, but like this nice bass line with like percussion so that it fills in the bottom. Like it has a nice grounding effect to the overall song. So it's not like a little too airy.
Surfing, baby. 무드가 봐도 빛나지, don't worry. 타고 따라가서 let me get in. 어둠을 바라보는 것도 밝은 저기 가슴. 눈동이고 숨 속에만 난 fantasy. 멈추고 싶지마 이게 꿈꾸던 fantasy. 숨 쉴 수가 없어 이곳에 우린 let me. Take a deep breath. 새로운 dimensional trap.
I wasn't ready for a soft vocal Mingy. I did just finish telling him to not be aggressive. And he was like, all right, you want a sweet little like serenade moment? Fine. I love the back and forth between the two of them as well. Fun changing the dynamics, right? Because they have very different approaches to the way that they do their vocals. They have a very different natural tone to their voice and their deliveries that I always like when they put them back to back. But here having them literally flipping back and forth between different lines is really fun.
Surfing, baby. 무드가 봐도 빛나지, don't worry. 타고 따라가서 let me get in. 어둠을 바라보는 것도 밝은 저기 가슴. 눈동이고 숨 꿈속에만 난 fantasy. 멈추고 싶지마 이게 꿈꾸던 fantasy. 숨 쉴 수가 없어 이곳에 우린 let me. Take a deep breath. 새로운 dimensional trap. 알잖아 우린 존재만으로 서로를 더 빛나게 해. 너와 나 지금 마음이 이대로 조금 더 빛났음에.
Ooh, that little walk down in the music too. Hold on. I also like, okay, here he's getting like a little bit more of that doming sound that he gets because he's containing his sound in a way that he wasn't for the previous one. It was almost like a, I don't know, like a snarled previous one, but he was like aiming the sound like really at the front of his mouth in Desire. And then here it's further back because there's something more relaxed in his delivery. But I love this being stuck in like a dream or a fantasy and being like, hey, we'll just forget about the world for a little bit and let's just exist here for a little while. Let's just say a bit more like this. Again, love the back and forth that we're getting, but we only exist to make each other brighter. That's so sweet. Y'all can't go from whatever the other song before this was into this. You can't transition that starkly. I knew there was going to be a little bit of whiplash in this one. Also, dimensional trip. Storyline?
너와 나 지금 마음이 이대로 조금 더 빛났음에 한 걸음씩 점점 가까이 다가가면 갈수록 확신이 생겨 우린 원래 하나라고.
Ooh, that harmony! I hear those vocals in the back. Gorgeous tone. Ooh, sorry, I'm not to interrupt you, sweetie pie, okay? I love when you get lines. And I was hoping you were gonna get some on this because I was like, Yeosung's voice, his tone on this production? Please. The little like walk downs that they're doing in the production is so good too. Because not only does it have this little fun bounce to it, but it's a great way of transitioning between different parts of the vocals. Like it's usually when they're passing off in who's singing. And I really like that there's just like a little something in the production when they're passing off different lines. Like the little walk down there, but
멀리 보이는 저곳을 봐봐 같이 가고 싶다는 듯 손짓하며 깜빡이고 있어 우리 손을 뻗어 다가가 볼까
sir, your vibrato. I'm sorry, did you give me a vocal slide? You can't do this to me. You can't give me something with a great bass line. It's got these fun vocal melodies. It's giving me almost like jazz adjacent, right? Like this like soft pop feeling. It has a dreamy vibe. The lyrics are sweet. All of y'all are giving vocals justice for Yeosung on this song. I need him to have more lines on this song of all things. With his like darker tone, yes please. Wooyoung is also being left a little bit in this album, which I've noticed. But you're giving me so much in this. You're gonna give me a vocal slide. I'm gonna take a drink and then we're gonna listen to it again because I can. All right, do it again.
저기 빛나는 멀리 보이는 저곳을 봐봐 같이 가고 싶다는 듯 손짓하며 깜빡이고
Got those snaps.
우리 손을 뻗어 다가가 볼까 혼자가 아니라고 너였구나 말 샬롯 운명같이 온 쫄라
Insanity.
밤하늘 속 서로를 보던 starlight You must always 바라본 순간 어둠 밤은 걷히고 그 안에서
Just realized I was scrunching my face up. In a good way. Oh, you're just wait.
그 안에서 우린 빛나
You're gonna end on like a bass line too, and just gonna let the vocals like vibrato out. But also, just so I loved everything about that. That I'm obsessed with that song. I'm re-listening to it so much because it has everything that I could possibly want in it. And also that vocal slide. Not only do I love a good vocal slide, but he like widens out the sound. Like you could hear the way that he masks it. I'm not gonna listen to the whole thing. Unlikely that I will. Maybe, I don't know. Depends on how much self-control I have. But I gotta hear the vocal slide. Yeah, like you could hear him like start with a more rounded vowel so he can find his note, and then he like widens out into masking up into like his nasal cavity and stuff. So you could like almost hear the way he widens out his mouth instead of having it in that like rounder vowel sound, which just gives it like a little bit more ping to it than if he had just kept a rounded vowel there. Wow. No, that I loved it. I think it was sweet. There were some cute lyrics, vocals from everybody. Great. I will take the crumbs that I can from those that we don't get to hear as much. You know, so good in this. I know he's good. I know he has an incredible voice, but his tone on a song like this, dang. I don't even know how to put into words how excited I am about this song and that it exists. Gorgeous, fun, bright, dreamy, and it's just cute. Like, it was you, my shine light, came like fate, true light. Like, that's just cute. That's a cute lyric. And then talking about like when we're together, like the night is lifted. See, every time I'm like, I feel like y'all are coming for me. I feel like y'all are picking a fight, and I'm not a strong enough warrior to win that fight or to even be dragged into it. And then you do something sweet like this and I get pulled back in. I'm gonna have to listen to the song a lot. It's gonna be on repeat for a little bit. It's gonna be concerning. They have no right doing everything that happened in those two songs. I was like, I feel like there's gonna be a bit of whiplash, okay? I think that there's gonna be a bit of a different vibe shift in this, because I was like, how do we jump from Say My Name to Promise? I'm like, there has to be some kind of journey there. And I think that it's okay, if I can calibrate my thoughts. I think it is interesting that we got a bunch of stuff that was like ATEEZ and going into storyline stuff, but then transitioning into Desire and this idea, like I was saying, of almost having this like intoxicating, like siren song-ish of pulling you in a certain direction, and like even saying a siren song that's like a source that is like luring you away and guiding your path. And then we have something like Light, which I feel like is very much this struck by lightning fate. I'm going to connect it to their fans because they've talked about Starlight in relation to them a lot, and that being like the way that they are navigating, especially in Promise that comes afterwards. So having this much softer, lighter tone to this song, and this switch in the way that this person is guiding you, or like the way that you're able to go after this goal or this dream or go on this journey, is because of this light that is helping guide you. And then we have Promise, which is, hey, I know I've said all this stuff and we have a long way to go before we accomplish everything that we've set out to do, but we promise that we will do it, right? Like that we promise that it is going to be something that we accomplish. Just stick with us and we'll get there together. Just fascinating overall with this one. I feel like they did so many different things in this. Not that their debut didn't have a bunch of different elements in it, but this definitely felt like them being like, okay, we've made our little spot in the industry. We've debuted. The pressure of that is like off now, right? Like obviously there's lots of work to still do, but we've debuted. That's like a huge milestone for anybody. And this album felt a little bit more experimental, right? All the way from Hala Hala of me being like, hey, it's unlikely that a idol group will do something that is very much in line with a like performance troupe, right? Of not only doing an intense performance like that, where I'm like, I was not prepared for the amount of like performance details of that video, but also the anonymity of that. It felt like a dance troupe. It felt like almost a dance competition number as opposed to K-pop idol performance or music video. And then getting into storyline stuff of, we're going to be dealing with at least two versions, and we had like dimensional trip in the lyrics, and I'm like, storyline, especially since we're getting dark to light, literally. The song title. I don't know how much of that people have told me everything is storyline, so I guess I should consider everything. But I just feel like they did so many different things on this and have really flexed a lot of different parts of who they are as a group, from performance to vocals to lyricism to interesting production stuff, like making their sound more distinct and their performance more distinct. And it's like I said with their debut, this is the most amateur they're ever going to be. They're only going to refine what they want to do as artists the longer that they have, like they're doing stuff and that they experiment with things and they get more experience. And I just feel like there was a huge jump in what they were doing between debut and this one. I just feel like they have grown a lot in that time frame, and it's impressive, and it's a little bit intimidating because I am only 2 early albums in. It's only going to become more so the more that I go. Excited, but also a little bit worried for my safety. But I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click this playlist to go to my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so the next time I post an ATEEZ reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.